December 5th, we have a full moon and Bitcoin's at 92K. Let's discuss if we could get a further move up or not in the coming days here. So typically after a full moon, we can get a pump. The only thing is we're already getting a pump into this full moon. That's the only thing. And sometimes it does happen before the full moon. But let's look historically. Well, we actually got a dump in this full moon on November 5th. This full moon, we got a peak. So it certainly does not happen every time. This full moon, we did get a pump afterwards. This full moon, August, we got a pump and then a dump. This full moon, July 10th, we got a big pump up to the all-time high back then. Full moon, June 12th. We had a dump, and then the full moon, May 12th, we did have a pump afterwards. So it doesn't happen every time. Maybe 60% of the time, something like that, we get a pump afterwards. But like I said, we're already getting a pump into it. All right, so let's talk a bit more about it. If we could do a Fibonacci line from this peak here down to this low. And we're right up to that 50% level. So look at this green line. We are bumping up and getting some resistance at this level of 93,995, about 94,000. And so we're still in a little bit of a weak position because we're below this 50% level. So if we are able to make it above this level and then hold it as support, maybe it could test that level, but then head back up. In that case, we could get to 100,000. But we have to break through this resistance at 94,000 at this exact 50% level. Let's also look at this yellow line, which is the change in global liquidity line. It's very important. You see the last time this change in global liquidity line started going down, crypto started correcting and it surprised everybody. No one saw this coming, but I sold back here, right around here. I sold 50%, all right? And that allows me to keep my cool and relax down here. So I might buy some more, but I am waiting to see what happens here because you see this yellow line is going down at December 13th. Now it could be give or take a week or two. So it's not exactly guaranteed, but we could get another correction before we have a move up here. And then the interesting thing is we get another potential correction in January, late January, and then even another little correction here, it looks like possibly in February. So we're probably going to get maximum volatility. We're probably going to see big crashes and big uptrends as well. So certainly possible. I know some people are calling for the end of the bull run. It's possible. I mean, there are many indicators that are pointing towards that. But we still have not gotten to quantitative easing. So the tricky thing is that it can take some time, if and when we get quantitative easing, it can take some time for that to hit markets and for markets to really see a big upswing. So perhaps that's showing why we could be getting these corrections coming up here in the near future. But yeah, I'm definitely expecting another potential flash crash in December. It's either going to be December 13th or give or take a couple weeks. So it could even be the end of December, around Christmas. So we could have a Christmas surprise. That's certainly possible. But have we been good girls and good boys this year? We shall see if we are getting presents under the Christmas tree. All right. Check the astrology. So we're getting a full moon in Gemini. Most of the transits are pretty positive. We're getting, let's see, close this. we're getting, you know, Mercury trine Jupiter, Mercury trine Saturn. These are all positive aspects. We're getting Mercury trine Neptune, Venus trine Neptune, Jupiter trine Saturn, which is good. I mean, slight negative, we're getting Mars square Saturn. But overall, we're getting, you know, a lot of these blue positive aspects. We're getting these trines and sextiles, which typically can bring, you know, some good energy, can possibly bring pumps into the market. You know, it's more probable than not. But of course, none of this is guaranteed. None of this is financial advice. We look at my December Bitcoin astrology, and we are getting, you know, Neptune trining the Bitcoin progressing moon. December, that was yesterday. And then we're also getting another positive transit on the 10th, which could bring some expansion because Jupiter can bring expansion. But the problem is I looked at the Bitcoin IBIT BlackRock ETF astrology, and December 9th, we have this major negative, which is the third time we're getting it. And the last two times we've gotten big dumps. April 8th, we got a huge dump in the crypto market with this Saturn conjunct the IBIT Neptune. Again, November 17th, we got a huge dump. We'll see if that happens again December 9th. Usually the third time is less intense, so it might not be as big of a correction, but it's not good. So we could actually get another correction. So we'll see if we can get up to 100K, but we got to get past this 94K level first. And we're seeing some resistance there on the daily time frame already. If we do get up there, I will probably be taking some profits because I mean, look at the yellow line. It's showing a correction that comes right after. So I definitely wouldn't be getting too optimistic. Yeah. So I'm preparing more for the downside, and I will be buying on maximum fear, buying on major dips. That's more what I'm thinking right now. I'm in, you know, like 40% cash, something around there. As I did buy a little bit more right here, but I will be going in much heavier on a major liquidation event. That's mainly what I wanted to share. Let's look at the liquidations. Yeah, we're still not getting a lot of volume in the markets. Things are really dying down. And let me know what questions you guys have in the comments below. But I mean, the good news is that this global liquidity line, we're seeing an overall uptrend. I mean, this is the change in global liquidity line. I know a lot of people have like given up on this global liquidity line because they were looking at the global liquidity line and not the change in global liquidity line. So I'm going to emphasize it one more time. This is the change in global liquidity. And I'll repeat again, Bitcoin and crypto is still following this change in global liquidity line. As we see a downtrend ever since, October 6th, just like this yellow line, the change in global liquidity is showing. And I repeat, we are getting an uptrend, but here from, mid or late December to February. So that's looking good. And as long as it continues to follow this change in global liquidity line, it is still correlating pretty close to it. The last 90 days, it's got an 83% correlation. The last 60 days, an 79% correlation. That's pretty darn good. So that's the most optimistic thing here, which could show that we're not at the end of the bull run, potentially. So in another liquidation event, I will be buying more as we are seeing that possible uptrend there. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we already looked at the astrology. Ethereum ETF astrology, not so great either for December, but January could be looking a bit better. So that's the majority of what I wanted to share today. Happy full moon. In terms of our personal lives, For the December astrology, we are getting, Mercury, the planet of trading, trining Jupiter. So that could actually be healthy for um, bringing more expansion into our lives, which could mean crypto expansion. And Mercury trining Saturn, that can bring slow and steady growth um, and improvements and the way we think and we communicate. But then we're getting Mars squaring Saturn. So December 9th, things get a lot more tricky and it becomes a lot harder to move things forward. And it's more of a time for pausing and reflecting um, rather than pushing things forward, because we could be facing some major obstacles with Saturn here on December 9th. So just a heads up there. Not this month is not the best time to be trying to push things forward. It's more of a time to let things go, let go what's not working anymore. Sometimes the best improvements we can make is letting go, letting things die off, letting things fall away so that we can create space for what is much more in alignment for us. And that can be very, very positive. All right, so I hope that makes sense. And take a look at my previous video where I gave the December general astrology update. I gave a lot of information in that video to help you, guide you along this month of December, which can be a challenging month. Like I said, there's specific things that if you're trying to do in December, it might create a lot of resistance. It could create a very challenging month. So watch my previous video to learn the things to do to make December your best December yet, and not get caught up trying to, push things when you're basically going upstream and not going with the flow of things. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Quick comments. So we can expect bullish pivot point somewhere in December. I think so, yeah, but it might be scary. It's usually scary dump. It usually comes with some scary narratives, some scary world events. But yeah, I think I would be bullish on that. My strategy is to buy on the extreme fear when things are cheaper, and then take profits on the way up. You are the only to say to sell mid-November. Props to you, Jack. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging me for that. Yeah, and take a look at my previous videos where I told you guys that I was taking profits. Was just trying to sell a bit. What's the best timing, rather now or mid-December? M2 rate of change is peaking around that time. Well, like I said, there's actually a dip I'm planning for. That's really tricky. I mean, it was better to take profits, like a month ago rather than now. So that's why I'm thinking more of like buying in any major dips rather than selling. So you can either just hold, which can be a good strategy. I can't give you any advice, but if I were in a situation similarly, I would either just hold through it or maybe sell a little bit and then wait for the dump. But yeah, it's totally up to you what you want to do, what you feel most comfortable with. The main question is like, what are you willing to risk? Are you willing to risk your money in the market or out of the market? And which feels safer for you? M2 rate of change saying good end of December, but in your other video you said end of December is not good astrology. Yeah, it's tricky. I can't give you guys like an exact date. It's very tricky. So basically the macroeconomic cycles are pointing towards a correction end of December. Honestly, yeah, the astrology is pretty bad for December. So it could happen any time in December. It could happen mid-December or late December. So I'm actually not sure. I can't give you guys exact dates. I don't give exact dates. I just give, general, monthly updates where, in this case, there could be a correction anytime middle or end of December. I'm not sure, but I'm just waiting patiently to wait for that correction so that I can make a decisive decision. please make a video on Ethereum and Sol. Okay. I will plan to do that. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.